So my presentation is basically based on the premise that one of the missing elements in online course success is the learning community of practice. What does that mean? Well, in order for me to give you this explanation, I need to take you back. About 3 years ago, I started a program here at New Jersey City University, specifically the Educational Technology Leadership Doctorate Program. When I told many of my friends and family members that I was going to do a doctorate, they were very excited for me. It's something that I was passionate about. More importantly, I'm the first person in my family to get a doctorate. So for me, this was a huge milestone just all unto itself. However, I did have some people give me some interesting comments about online learning. And these were the comments that I've heard over the years, not only from peers and colleagues, but even from some of my former students. Why are you taking an online course? Why are you doing a degree that's online? Online learning is hard, it's difficult, it's solitary. Now, for those who don't know me, I am a believer in online learning. I've spent the last 20 years, and hopefully I don't look like it, I spent the last 20 years designing, implementing, and leading online learning in both corporate and academic environments. So I think, in my mind, I think I know something about online learning, and more importantly, I know how to succeed. So I started with my cohort, and this is a picture of my cohort in the Educational Technology program. And when I first spent my first week with them, one of the things that our instructor, in this case Dr. Laura Ziegler, said to us was, you are a community, and you're going to learn from each other. You are going to learn from each and every single one of these people in this room. So to me, the road to success was simple. In my mind, I was going to apply the same tactics, the same tools in my toolkit that I've always used to succeed in online learning, which for me was always hard work, time management, and a lot of sacrifice, because that's what I did throughout my entire career. I've sacrificed, I've worked hard, I got through my master's, I got through a postmaster's, and I'm like, well, if I can do all that, I can do a doctorate. And within the first year of the program, that's what happened. I was succeeding. Things were going well. I was doing well in my coursework. Then about 2 years ago, I hit a roadblock. And what was really interesting was I started hearing a lot of the echoes from my former students and peers who used to tell me, online learning is hard, online learning is solitary. I was taking a research course here at New Jersey City University, and for me, this was a difficult course. It was something that I had never encountered. I had zero frame of reference, but I trusted in the professors, I trusted in the program, and I said, I'm going to do well. I'm just going to work hard. I'm going to study hard. I'm going to answer all of my discussion board posts. It's going to be great. The first assignment comes in. Well, let me rephrase that. I handed in my first assignment. I got a not so good grade. The second assignment comes in. I got an even lower grade. Now, in my mind, I'm struggling, because in my mind, it's I'm working hard. I'm doing everything that I've told my students over the last 20 years. This is what you do to succeed in an online course. And here I am seeing that it's not working for me. Talk about a reality check. So one of the biggest challenges that many of us have, especially if you've been in online learning like I have for a long time, is you're used to working alone. You're used to working in your own little silo. And one of the things that I had to break out of my shell was to ask others for help. And the reality is, learning is a social activity. Learning happens in a social context, meaning you don't just sit and absorb information. When you engage with others, learning happens. And that's what I needed to do. But in this case, I needed to take it a step further. And that is when I started working with my community, aka my cohort. New Jersey City University's Educational Technology Leadership Program uses a cohort system. So you are taking classes with about 15 to 20 students at the same time, and you take these courses together through the course of your time in the program. So I was doing all the standard things that you would expect. I was answering the discussion boards, I was handing in my assignments. But the one thing that I really wasn't doing was engaging with the community. Now, based on Wegner's work, I'm not going to read you the entire quote, but just to kind of paraphrase, what makes a community of practice different from a regular community. For example, think of everyone here right now, we are in a community. We are all here because you're interested in learning about these variety of topics here today. Jersey City is a community because people happen to live and work and get educated in Jersey City, right? But a learning community of practice is different in that people come together because they have a specific interest. It could be, for example, becoming math teachers. In my case, I was taking courses with educational technologists. We have a common interest, but the goal is to learn, to grow in that environment, to become experts in that field. And part of that, which is what's highlighted and underlined here on my presentation, is that it's not just about being part of a community, it's about actively engaging in the community, meaning active discussions, active cooperation. Because active participation is what leads to learning. You can't just sit in a community and go, I'm a part of a community, I'm waiting for all the knowledge to come in and just simply download into my brain. Doesn't happen. However, what can happen if you actively engage with students, asking questions, getting into healthy debate, you can learn something. And that's what I did. I spent time talking to my colleagues and said, look, I'm struggling in this research course. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Help me understand what I'm doing that's just not working. So I spoke to a bunch of other students, and you know what? They were having the same problems. But the beauty of it was that they had found different solutions. And by my having these conversations, these active, engaged conversations, I was able to come up with solutions. Suffice to say, I passed the course at the end. But the real interesting part was how we did it. It's an online program, which meant we only met in person one time a year. And these are, by the way, actual chats from our group. Yes, I did get permission to use their images before this presentation today. But this is a live Zoom chat, and this is a live WhatsApp chat. These tools, along with Zoom, became our life's blood. Whenever I had a question, whenever I had a moment, I just needed some encouragement. Or more importantly, I wanted to invite people to some sort of presentation like today's TED Talk. We use these tools to interact with each other. So what we were doing is we were forming the community beyond the classroom. We continue to engage each other through these tools, both on and off our different semesters. So the epiphany that I had was, you could be successful in an online course, but when the chips are down, when you find yourself struggling, you need your community. It's not just enough to have a community. You need to actively engage with them by asking the appropriate level of questions, by debating your thoughts and ideas. You will learn far more than just simply sitting in front of a computer and reading materials. So over the next year, I spent time working with all of my colleagues and peers. I spent time not only asking questions, but then it's a community, right? It's not just enough for me to take from them all this great information. I also started actively giving information to the members of my community, because that's what a community does. You give and take. You work for the betterment of the group. And over time, we not only helped each other in terms of course assignments, but we were there to support our fellow colleagues in some of their dissertation research and in some of their activities. In addition, we started having social events where whenever we could, we would meet, we would just sit and chat and just have a conversation. We evolved our community beyond just being a classroom of students that were together. We became friends, and in some cases, family. Ultimately, these groups have been working closely together to form this cohesive unit of a community over the last 3 years. And quite frankly, I can't imagine not doing this program without them. So where does this all lead to? So I learned about the importance of a community. I've learned about the importance of using the community through active engagement and active dialogue. Well, I'm happy to report 3 weeks ago, 15 of us defended our dissertations, and 15 of us succeeded. So technically, and Dr. Schomburg, tell me if I'm wrong here, we're all doctors right now, including myself. Unofficially, May 22nd, we'll walk down the aisle and we'll be official at that point in time. But what was very interesting about this event, this is a week-long event where our instructors and our cohort members were going through our defenses. And throughout the entire week, this wonderful little device was ringing every single 5 minutes. Because what was happening was, even though our coursework had ended, our community members were cheering us on, sending us text messages, sending us emojis, sending us all kinds of images, cheering us on, congratulating us when we finish our defenses. The interesting thing is that our coursework has ended, but the community thrives and continues to exist even today. So, in conclusion, for those of you who are thinking about taking an online course, for those of you who have taken an online course and you feel that it wasn't for me, there's some challenges, I'm not so sure of it, before you go down that path, let me offer some advice and take it from personal experience. In the last 3 years, I came to realize the importance of this learning community practice that is formed, whether it's by design or otherwise. This is something that you can form in all of your online classes. I don't care if you're taking a single online course or you're taking an entire degree program online. You can succeed by using this community practice. And if one does not exist by design, you can form one. Start talking to the people around you. You can form the necessary communities and support mechanisms to help you in succeeding in any type of online environment. I know that this community is going to live long after graduation. And you know what? I'm a better person for it. More importantly, together, we all have grown and have become doctors. And you know what? I think it proves something. Together, we can achieve a lot. Thank you.